Good morning. We have a full crew here today. Let's see, who were we missing? We're missing just Kathleen Gerard, and she said she would be coming in by remotely. See, we have some people in the in Zoom land, so let me open up the floor for the public. If the public has anything they want to say at the beginning of the meeting, any comments, you're welcome to speak out. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's deal with the minutes from last month. Everybody's had a chance to take a look at them. I don't know where Kathy is.
Get a motion or what do you do?
That's what we'd like.
Oh, I make a motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Let's go into the financial report. I'm sorry, I had some computer issues. I was unable to put a PowerPoint up today. Okay. But we have the financials in front of us. There are financials at the desk back here. So let's just review what took place here in our September. You'll see that there was we moved some money around from the high yield account into the Chase account. That was for the Needham acquisition. So that account now, it started out with a balance of $488,369. We transferred $1,500,000 from our high yield New York class account into that account to cover that check for the closing. The interest was $1,580. The expenses are listed there, and I think everybody has a copy of it. And so the closing balance on the Chase account is $480,264. The New York class account, we had an opening balance of $10,476,210. The interest on that account is a whopping $40,465.59. We had account transfers of $1,624,295. 1.5 of that was for covering the acquisition partnership with Suffolk County, the Tuttle Needham property. The other amount was a transfer, which I really haven't gotten into. It had to deal with the audit from last year of, I believe, us owing WQIP interest money. That's what I believe it was. Okay, the transfer tax for this particular month, okay, was $169,729. So it left the balance in our account on the New York account, okay, is $9,062,110.44. So our cash on hand at this particular time is $542,374.61. And there is another sheet here that you have, which is CPF year-to-date, which looks like this one. This is basically a breakdown of CPF through July. Okay, we have our revenue stream is $822,547.70.
It'll be $1 million by the end of the year.
We're going to be about, I think we'll do 1.5 million, or under, I think around 2 million. So what we have. Okay. I am hoping that by the beginning of next year, okay, that we should have our QuickBooks program in place so that we can
Okay.
because I know people ask, well, what are these expenses? Should be able to have that readily available, okay? But I think anybody who has any questions about it, you can just go to Shelby, and she'll be able to answer any questions you have. I've looked at them, and I've looked at the expenses, okay? Okay. So, next up,
So I make a
to
motion,
make a motion here.
we accept the treasury report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Tim, just a rough update, okay, on the plowing at West Neck Reserve, where have we done everything now for the?
Yes, yes, all the plowing was done, and then they came disked, which is the same as tilling. They did that twice.
Right.
And now I just need to broadcast the winter wheat crop. And I'm hoping to I'm going to contact Doug Jarrett to see if some Silver Beach volunteers would like to come and help do that.
Okay.
We need rain.
We need rain.
Usually I
Dance
plot the planting of the seed a day or two before rain,
before rain. Okay.
but there's no rain forecast for the next 10 years.
I know, it's terrible.
That's it.
That's it. With the last part of with Nelson Pope, we're going to have some other information from them relative to the ADA compliant path and that stuff. Is that in the works still?
Yes,
I know we're having a little delay with them at this point.
yes, I will discuss that with Austin.
How successful is our mugwort eradication?
Looks good.
Well, actually, there's one case where lack of rain has been helpful. The only, but after the first tilling, I haven't been back since the second one. Little sprouts were coming up, which is expected. But I mean, one thing that was made me optimistic a little bit was before they came and plowed, I actually could go through and just pull out big hunks of it, which I could not do before. So we'll see.
But it looks completely different. I mean, are you getting new growth there from the mugworts or no?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen because it gets broken up, but a lot of it was buried with the plowing. So hopefully with the winter wheat, that'll sort of keep it repressed a little bit, and then we'll see what happens in the spring. But we're hoping that maybe we have to do one more plow in the spring. Then hopefully that will be it. We can plant a meadow, and but then this winter I want to start tackling the other areas. I want to get rid of some of the invasive trees. There's some princess trees there. They have these giant leaves. Those are spreading in one section. And anyway, there's some sections that I talked to Ken Lewis about it. But we can start, and we want to get rid of that big mulch pile.
Yep.
Mhm.
And the trees that were in that mulch pile are dead. So stuff like that, I want to start looking at the other parts of the preserve.
Okay. And the other one which we talked about, that was, the next item was Dickinson Overlook Preserve. We talked about creating a vegetative buffer. I know we
Yes.
were reaching out.
Yes, I did have a conversation with the landscape designer. Again, and that person is still interested. I'm assuming they're still busy this fall with the clients, but hopefully over the winter, we can walk it and come up with some kind of plan for next spring.
So, I'm sorry, to go back to West Tech for a second. So
Yeah.
will we do the plantings in the spring? Is that what we're thinking?
For the meadow,
Well, not any of the other non-invasive stuff that we had.
that I don't know. You know, it's always tricky. You plant something, you get a wet spring and then you get a hot, dry summer. And, you know, you could lose a lot of stuff. So then you think you're gonna get a wet fall and you don't. So it's, well, that has to be discussed, the timing.
There should be, there's water there, right?
Well, yes and no. There's a well there, and there's some kind of, or there was, at this point, it may have been destroyed. The actual above ground piece. But, you know, ideally, when you plant something like that, you really don't water it. You just plant it, let nature take its course. But if nature's being really uncooperative, it's not good. So we'll see.
Could we just bring in water?
You could, but it's expensive. I mean, the town has water, actually,
Right.
but it's a big area. You know, it's one thing to water, they water the trees that Friends of Trees plants
Uh-huh.
along the road there. But it's a big ask to go and water 2 acres or something on a regular basis.
Right.
Plus you got the trucks going back and forth, which means you're pushing down stuff, so
Okay.
you really don't want to have trucks on it either.
There still is a point there? We still have a wellhead there?
Well, I actually haven't seen it lately. There's been a lot of activity there. I'd have to look for it.
Well, they could find it for you.
Look at a divining rod.
Well, yeah, but having a little experience lately with wells, they can find it for you.
Yeah,
I don't know what they use, but
we could look into that.
Could we use some of the mulch down at Dickinson Creek?
Well, I don't want to add mulch.
Not mulch, but isn't that, that's really topsoil?
Topsoil. Ken would like to distribute some of it at the site, and then he can take it to other places.
Okay, I'm gonna jump to item number 7, which is the volunteer stewardship plans. We have a copy of it. This was what was adopted. This was an adopted plan. I think it's still relevant. It all has all the pieces. And I think we should implement this. There's a couple of items in here relative to a contact person, which would be our clerk to our CPF. But what do you guys, we've been beating this around a little bit for a long time, okay? What, does anybody want to handle any of this stuff? Be really good if someone could take.
Okay.
Well, what about the preserves? What about the actual implementation of it? That's what I'm talking about.
to get volunteers, is that what you mean?
Well, there are volunteers that want to volunteer, but I think we have to have some groundwork. That's what this does. This spells out what the what the job is and what the function of a volunteer is. They have no authority to stop anybody.
Oh,
Not, they're basically our eyes and ears, okay? And, they report to the committee of things that might not be correct and so forth. I mean, there's a whole, you can see the application, this was really well thought out.
Yeah, that's great.
It's, contacts, and but it means that we have to really sit with somebody and go over it, which,
Including taking Jane Roberts out of it.
well, that's, we have to take that route.
So, well, for instance, let's just take Silver Beach. So, people from Silver Beach are always interested in what's going on in West End.
Right.
So, I could talk to Doug.
I have already spoken to him.
So,
We're having a meeting in November.
So let me ask this question. Should this be like, to make it more complicated than it has to be, but should this be like, if you were hiring somebody, meaning they would come for the committee, or what do you think? Is that necessary? No.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I mean, I'm happy if somebody volunteers,
I'm happy too.
so.
Okay,
then the point would be that you would sit down with that person.
Yes.
Go through all of this.
correct.
So they have to sign in, sign
Yes.
it and all this, yeah.
So whoever does it, that person, like if you're dealing with Silver Beach, Kathy, okay, you would implement this.
Yeah, I mean, I had a couple of names because I presented it at one of the board meetings. And Kathleen and I went through Sachem, for example. So I'm confused about the volunteer program.
We're looking for eyes and ears at the properties, okay?
So like during the year.
During the year.
We go to the property at least once a year,
Yeah.
our assignments.
But there are neighbors and there are people who really want to actively
Yeah.
pursue it, so they really would be, they don't have any.
Get a lot
they
of
don't have any
it, hard to
authority.
swing.
They don't have any authority, but at least they can say, we know who's on the property, okay?
How many are we looking for per property?
I think I have at least two for.
I don't think you need more than two, do you?
No,
Do you want somebody who's here full-time and somebody who's here part-time? Some people,
I don't know whether it makes any difference.
See who volunteers.
no,
Got to see who volunteers. The question then is, how do we alert people that we're looking for volunteers?
well, you can go to the
Some
TV.
people have already identified that they'd like to do
Yeah.
it, so we know them.
You have that spring of appreciation, that would be a good time to bring that public.
There you go.
Okay.
You can also go to the neighborhood
The job is really that the landscapers on the adjacent properties tend to dump.
Right.
So that is their risk. But I mean, if somebody's there and they're watching this, they're not to stop somebody, but they're to basically let us know what's going on, let you know what will be going on.
They also may be the culprits of
Well, yeah.
dumping things too.
I mean, that was the intent. I thought it was a good beginning, okay, because at least we have somebody looking at the properties, whether it,
but I like that it's sort of, a lot of things are spelled out.
okay.
That it's not just, hey,
Meet with them once.
property and
And it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that's adjacent to the property. It can be,
somebody's just interested.
shows that somebody has interest in
Yeah.
preservation.
I mean, it's nice when they are, because
Yep.
as Doug keeps telling me, like, I mean, Silver Beach goes past West Neck, so they sort of feel it like it's
I was
the,
very open too, so.
yeah, they're very kind of aware of what's going on there all the time, so they're always asking. So it kind of makes sense that somebody in the vicinity.
Is this only for CPF properties?
The what?
Is this only for CPF properties?
CPF property, yes. So, because we have neighbors all over, but it's like, I think it would be a good thing. Because we always have a contact person, we can always meet with that person, And it really would go according really where the assignments of the property are.
Right. As far as number 5, equipment, it says you must bring a functioning cell phone, but sometimes when we go in there, we clean up a little bit, and can they bring a chainsaw or something, or?
I would,
Refrain from that.
Yeah,
I would not do that.
Because I would, what's your take on that in terms, it's funny, every time I go on preserve land, I always forget to bring a set of clippers with me, meaning, but it is a good idea to have, there's nothing wrong with somebody clipping the pathways and make sure that something is open, but we really don't want people cutting anything down. Did you have any comments on that?
Well, part of the Conservation Advisory Council, we go through the nature preserve properties once a year and look at them. And then we report to the town board our findings, and hopefully they pass that on to, usually it's the recycle center that takes care of it, so I can. Now, he'll take care of it usually, of anything we have. But so far this year, I handed in that report in February. I haven't heard anything back yet. What's the action on it? So what is a repeat thing? But we look at the property and see what we have. And one of the problems we have, like you have, is where's the perimeter? The mark, you don't want to mark, this is the fence. You don't want to put something like that because it's supposed to be open. So signage is a big problem. For any property you want to walk and take a look at, so.
What about a volunteer, like what Chuck is just reading here? Can they clip? Why not?
I don't see any problem with using a manual clipper if they know what an invasive is or what it isn't.
Nothing gasoline operated?
Right.
The whole point is, if there's, let's just say a tree comes down and falls across the trail. So then they would see it, they would report it, and then we'd get the town guys to go clean it up.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
That's the whole goal.
It's as simple as that. I mean, let's not, otherwise you're asking people to now go do maintenance. And
No. What the thing is that, can they cut, can they clip?
somebody may be a little more interested or a little more, and if there's a small branch, they'll pick it up and move it. I mean, but, let's not.
Would discourage any kind of cutting, and certainly chainsaw.
The liability issue, and
We used to do.
Go through and find a way.
With the vine busters, people would come in with their chainsaws, and we'd have one day we'd go in. The guys loved it, and, but, they all signed something for that particular day.
The whole vine buster thing, that is sort of, everybody got in a different direction, so we don't really have that any longer, correct?
Yeah, Vine Busters is gone.
Vine busters
Is
is,
it something that, is there some way of recreating that, or no?
Yeah. No, I still have the mailing list from the trail group.
yeah, if we wanted to, we could. People enjoyed it.
boys will be boys.
So people would.
I'll go.
you don't have a chainsaw, Kathy?
I have a Sawzall and I have a circular saw, but my family would not let me get a chainsaw.
And then the other thing is, what about the school? They have a program with giving the kids some credits, what do they call them, service credits?
Yes.
And we had a lot of children that helped us with some of the properties when we were staking out Turkey's Rest. But I don't, is that something to look into?
Yeah, sure. I could do that again if you want. I didn't get a very big turnout. I only had like a few kids overall.
But maybe if they're getting some in-house service credit, okay, for the
Yeah.
school, for their resume for going on to college.
Yeah, no, I had contacted the school about that, and they passed it on to the kids, and I
Didn't go anyplace.
I still
It was interesting.
would love to have a science project.
Maybe we gotta pay more, okay?
You know, they have the Young Lions, I forgot what the group is called.
Lions Club?
The Lions Club have like,
Leo's.
Is that what they're called? I couldn't remember. They have Leos, maybe contact the Leo, and I forget who in the Lions Club is in charge. I think Marilyn might be in charge of Leo. I can ask.
At some point, the thing about the kids, maybe it'd be nice to organize some tours for maybe some of the older classes or whoever would be interested. And actually bring the school in and just have, on a school day, meet with them for an hour in one of the preserves and show them what they are, where they are, and point out things.
I like it. So who wants?
You want me to contact the Leo group?
Well, it could be the Leo group or, actually, I'm meeting with Brian Dolger this week about something else. And ask him if he thinks the school would be amenable to the idea. I don't know what the liability would be and all that stuff, but it just would be a way of introducing the school kids to our preserves. And I'd be happy to do it.
Okay, Kathy, let's talk about the water flame.
Attached to this should have been, but I sent it early in September, the management plan that Bo had drawn up. It's not here today, but it is attached to this. And I would say all of this is a kind of a style sort of thing, nothing substantive. What Carla and her husband did is specify which plots were theirs. In other words, before it kind of said what our acreage was and referred to them specifically by plot numbers. So she also inserted her plot numbers instead of just saying private property. So, let's see. Really, it's stylistic changes. The section that we're most interested in, I think at one point was the no hunting section.
No guns.
No guns. This is, this doesn't belong here. Oh, you're right, yes. The deer management program, that was attached to what Kathleen and I did some editing, and that was sent to you in early December, and attached to that version was the deer management program that they discussed with Bo. And it's incorporated by reference. She also spelled out the dates when hunting was permitted, archery only. And that's pretty much it. Use of firearms is prohibited. No fires, that was added. Obviously, there are no fires. And that was pretty much it.
Except one small, in the introduction section, the last paragraph, the third sentence, a map will be provided at the parking area site. We just add the small kiosk there. It's added somewhere else. There's a small kiosk.
Do we have a kiosk?
Going to have a kiosk.
Could have been.
Oh, okay. So you want, where do you want?
I don't have that QR.
It's in, it says a map will be provided at the parking area site. So we should just see a small kiosk,
A kiosk.
the map, or does it say elsewhere here? Just,
And we'll just say a map at a kiosk will be provided at the parking area. Okay.
Our regular preservation sign will be at the street.
Is it the small one?
Plastic one that I don't like,
The plastic ones that we,
that are already dirty.
As the map. in there?
No, the one, I'm talking about, yes, the one that has the maps attached to the side, okay, with the QR codes.
Yeah.
I don't know, we sort of lost our QR codes, but that's for another day.
Actually, I talked to Kevin about that last
Okay.
week, and he's going to work on it.
Okay.
Kind of, they got distracted by other things. I can talk to him again this week.
I mean, we did all the work, so it's a shame that they're
It's
not
just,
working.
it's just a matter of doing something. So,
And we are also looking for, on the website, to have our calendar of our dates of our meetings, which are not there. You know, some of the committees have it, some of them don't, but we, you used to have like, when are our meetings, okay?
by the way, do all of you know about Notify Me?
Yes.
No.
Okay, so that
Oh, for the town, yeah.
if you haven't signed up, you should sign up for it.
Okay.
On the website?
So the website, I forget where it is exactly, but
It's at the top, it's a banner, I think.
it's,
And if you're interested in a particular, I hesitate because of all the emails.
I just had 2 language things.
Uh-huh.
Top of the second page, no wandering off the path will be permitted. Maybe just hikers must stay on the path until reaching access lots.
Hikers.
Hikers must stay on the path until reaching access lots 5, 11, 5, 12, etc.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Hikers
Hikers must stay on
on the path.
until reaching access lots.
Okay.
And below it says improvements. The last sentence, there are no improvements on this property, and property shall be kept this way instead of that way.
Kiosk will be where the parking area is.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And then public access signage, it's just the last sentence, public access is reserved for hiking and nature watching. Maybe just for hiking and the enjoyment of nature.
Now, the entrances to 8 and 9, one's off of Simpson, one's off of Menantic, last lots 8 and 9. We have to put something there. So,
Yeah, because otherwise you're going across lot 7.
yes. So the thing is, people park on the aprons,
Yeah.
okay, and I think just a small reserve or something. I don't think we need anything elaborate there. What do you think?
But something should be there,
But like what?
a small sign.
Well, with the QR code in the map, I mean,
Well-
Is there no way to get to 8, 9
No.
without,
Well, you can walk
Right.
you can walk across the pond.
yeah.
Low tide.
I was wondering if there was any way we could make another path closer to the pond.
You know, it's all wetlands. I mean, on a low tide, you could probably go across from 6 over to.
At your own risk.
We're gonna build a bridge,
Yeah.
a rope bridge.
So what kind of a sign, we're just talking about, like a 8-inch sign or 10-inch, something
Something subtle.
low to the ground that is not obtrusive?
Not plastic, though.
Well, the only thing is about those signs, like, the ones they have at Shamrock, which I don't know what the material is, and they will have photographs and other stuff about sort of descriptions of what you're looking at, but they're really weatherproof. There's something like that actually had the map. That's part of
Yeah, but
it.
I'm talking about the 2 side streets. You want to put a map on that?
Well, I think people should have,
QR code, it wouldn't suffice?
if the QR code,
I mean, it's
includes a map. If it includes a map,
it does include the map,
so.
okay, then you can do that.
because it's a residential area. I think, how would you live there? So you tell me.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, we shouldn't advertise these properties until the trails are
Right.
long. Because we have people
Correct.
walking around to the neighbors that, as we know, happened with an outing that we had there. it's very important to have the trails marked because people don't know. I mean, I know the property pretty well and I can wander off into different parts.
Right.
And there's a couple of things, there's 2 openings actually 3 openings on the mantle that go into the 8 and 9. So
There are,
clearing that you can walk in from, not the main entrance.
Yeah, it's right next to 7, right?
Yeah.
One is right next to.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
that's the lot 8.
Yeah.
Okay,
So there's 2 openings there that you can walk in, and then you can see some of the problems we have in there that I've noticed that I don't know, is all the old bottles from the gas station that used to be in there on the property, if you look on the east of our eye.
Yeah.
Well, I saw all those bottles, old bottles.
Huh?
I saw them, all those old bottles there.
somebody was pulling them out. I don't,
That'd be fine if somebody pulled them out, I mean,
Where exactly was it?
On the east end of the preserve there, to go from Menantic.
East end off of Menantic, okay.
Whole list of bottles, because there used to be a gas station or something in there.
didn't see that.
Filled with, I guess, oil or something. So it's just something, I haven't gone to the historical society to follow
So,
up.
but we don't have to name it, do we? Can't we just put preserve and put a
I mean,
QR?
at the entrance, like.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's the bottles.
You know, something that's non-obtrusive, I don't want a big sign.
No, I don't think it should have a big sign. I think it should be just plain. The people should use the main entrance all the time. But, if it's clearly marked, how you get into 8 and 9, that's the problem. And not wander into other properties. I don't leave, with the owners of the property, but into the neighboring properties around.
Joe, I have all the arrows together, for the thing. Can we walk that together?
Sure.
Because we do have an opening on the main entrance there. That should be really quite simple as to where you go. We have the, I think it's called the property boundaries, okay, so people don't walk into it. But I think that wouldn't take a whole lot of time to put those arrows in and marking them, okay? And,
Are these on trees or on the ground?
well, I think the stakes are gonna be from the parking, a steel stake
Okay,
with a arrow on it or trees.
okay,
And so that they don't wander, particularly in Reserve Area A,
okay,
which is owned by Peconic Land Trust.
right,
Okay,
gotcha.
so we want to make sure that's clear. And, we just need to mark it. I think Howard's right, we have to do that, okay? But I was just concerned about those signs that are on Simpson and North Menantic.
Mhm.
So just a small, like something maybe about 8 inches, about something like this that's low to the ground, that's unobtrusive. Am I looking at it wrong?
Shouldn't be too low, though. Otherwise it'll get mowed down.
Well, I thought it would be where we have the clearing. Well, I don't know, I'm open, guys, whatever you want to do.
I mean, if it's low to the ground, nobody knows it's there, that's not helpful,
Well, I mean, when I'm saying low to the ground, I mean, it's not like this height.
okay.
Oh, that high?
Yeah.
This is not unobtrusive.
Huh?
That's not unobtrusive.
Well, unobtrusive meaning small.
Small, I mean, it's not going to be a big sign that says something, it'll be maybe
You don't want to put it on a tree. I was just thinking Sachem,
Where we can, we'll put it on trees, but where the
Sachem, I think there were little arrows.
You're gonna drill into a tree?
we're talking about 2 different things. I'm talking about the entrance to the preserve.
Yeah,
Oh, the entrance.
Entrance.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm talking
Okay.
about the entrance being, it'd be this high, something like this, but not.
Sort of like a little sign you'd have at the front at your house to
Correct.
identify it for the fire department.
Tui's house, right.
Yeah, Tui's house.
Artist Lane Preserve,
Artist Lane Preserve.
Annex,
Jim,
whatever
can
you
you
want
pull it up on, see if it's on the property map, if we were able to see that?
Jane? Yeah, I mean, Jessica,
Yeah.
can you pull that up, Jessica?
Who could make a kiosk quickly?
Well, I had school, or we can do, I've looked at a number of them right now that are out of plastic. I almost am tempted to go with the plastic.
Ah, they get so dirty, Gordon. The signs are all dirty already.
What signs?
The plastic signs for the preserves. I want to go and get out of the car and wipe them.
That could be part of your stewardship.
Yes.
Wipe the side, bring me a Windex, wipe the side.
There has to be wooden ones we could get. No?
Well, but this is a county, first of all, this is a county partnership, so our signs are sort of, the uniform, people now
I'm
know.
just talking about the kiosk now.
Kiosk signs, okay, like we made one out of wood, which is over there by,
What's next? So
what's next?
that's what I'm
We can do
thinking.
Exactly the same.
That's what I'm thinking.
The school made that. Do you want to have someone else make it?
I don't know, they had problems with it, so we'll look at that again, okay, but I'll get it going. We'll have it before our next meeting in November. I can tell you that.
If there's something you want me to do, if there's something you want me to do, let me know.
Quick question.
Just move it out so you can see Manant, there you go.
Yeah, so. Which one is seven?
This is ours right here, Chuck. This one, just move this down a little bit, Jessica. Yeah. This one is off of Simpson. Okay, and this is the other lot here, which is ours. So there's a, this is, we have it, it's mowed very nicely. I don't know if anybody's been there. They've been maintaining it. So it goes through, it goes all the way through, all the way down to here. There are a couple of chairs here. So on this particular location on Simpson, I'm just looking for a small sign that just says, preserve. I don't. Okay, and then the main entrance obviously is here.
This is where Howard was talking about that entrance.
Yeah, that's too clear.
Well, yeah, I don't know how that extra entrance got in there. But there's one on the right side. Somebody moved in here. I don't know how that happened, but it's really along here and it goes right in and it sort of snakes around. And this is obviously the parking area. So the kiosk and the parking would be here. The trail basically goes across, snakes along in here, and it comes about here, and it goes to here, okay? There are signs, private property here. There are signs, no vehicles on this road. And from this particular spot, okay, this could be the loop that goes around back to the parking.
And then do you want to do something going out to the point?
Oh, right out to here, we did clear a path all the way out here, and we want to put a bench there.
Yeah,
And the bridge going across the creek, right?
Yeah.
And a bridge-
Well, jokes, I don't see why not, right?
I don't see why not either.
Walkway, just flat walkway that goes up and down, right?
The,
Like the Japanese bridge.
yes, so the,
That'd be nice too.
what's good about this is the landscaper, he's been really great. He's been, it's costing us next to nothing. I mean, it's like $300 for one side, $200 for the other, just because it's really blowing the leaves and just making sure that entrances are clean, okay? But that's also what the stewardship, the volunteers would help with. If there's a problem that we have to mow, they would pick up the phone, okay?
is Jason doing the Simpson Road entrance too?
Yes,
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
doing Simpson and doing,
Quick question on the last page, where's number 3, no hunting or trapping is allowed unless permitted by town. Does anyone know if is trapping allowed at all on Shell Island?
no.
There's no trapping, right?
No trapping.
Is there,
What do you trap?
that's what I'm wondering. It just seems like way too dangerous, people's pets and things like that. I wouldn't. want to be going on that.
Where is it? Where is that?
The pest control guys probably trap, right? For raccoons.
Yeah, well, that would be like.
They deposit them somewhere else.
It's not like I'm thinking of like a trap, actually.
Bear trap. Where is that? Where is that, Joe?
It's just the, last page, number 4.
4?
Kathy, can we modify this?
Yeah.
So everybody looks at it, they have a final look at it,
We want to vote on what we have, so we have it done.
and so that we can present it to the town board, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, so we'll clean it up, and I'll attach the Bose thing. Are we going to vote on this now? Is this acceptable to everyone? If I clean it up?
I think so.
Okay.
Did a lot of work on it, great.
Now, Mr. Five-O did.
So can we get a vote to move forward? You get a copy
No,
from
I
Kathy?
just had one more question. On item 7, we were just looking at, list of items. What is DDP?
Item 7?
Culling by selecting roads as permitted by DDP.
I think
Where are you looking here?
he's looking at
Item
7.
last page.
Is that the deer?
Yes.
I think it's supposed to be DMP, the Deer Management Program.
Maybe you just spell it
Yes,
out.
I agree. No, wait a minute, calling by selecting. Oh, yeah, she means
Yeah, that's what
hunting.
it is.
Yeah, so it's the Deer Management Program.
Which is the additional hunting season, I'm assuming you're talking about.
I think that's a nuisance.
You right? Yeah.
Fill it out, Kathy.
I just did. Do they don't permit blinds in there, do they?
No.
Okay. We don't have to spell that out.
Say that again?
The blinds that the deer
Oh.
hunters use.
I mean, tree stands,
Tree stand.
What they call them blinds?
that's for duck.
That's for ducks and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Well, no blinds in there anyway.
Let's revise it and let's get this
All
done.
right, so we all approve this, say aye. Aye, once more. Okay, that's done. What's the spring
Just,
appreciation?
the other, this, I didn't put down here, just is under new, let's see, stewardship plans, we did that. The signage I want to talk about in a second. Okay, Kathleen is not here, but she wanted to talk about the stewardship doing something for spring appreciation.
What does that mean?
It means that we have a lot of property.
Uh-huh.
The people don't know about it. Maybe it's a way of thanking those people who, like, for example, Artist Lane is going to be a big event at the Historical Society, a real art show there. So this would be the time that we would maybe do something appreciative for the White family.
Besides money.
Besides money, right, besides money.
So is this something at the
Well said,
historical?
Chuck.
I thought that was in December.
No, the Historical Society is doing it, but Kathleen said we ought to do something.
Tie it in.
Tie it in, whether it be on West Neck Preserve. There are different properties that we really like. I didn't.
Just an event
Event.
to thank various people who have been generous in their settlement with the CPF
So Kathleen is handling
and
that.
bring attention.
Well, she wanted to talk about it, but she's not here today.
Okay.
But I think
Okay.
something we can do, okay?
Time.
And the, I didn't put down here on this agenda was the Needham Tuttle property. The closing, Kathy and I went to the closing a couple of Fridays back. Everything went smooth, okay, so everything is in place, okay? And we were lucky enough to, on that property, John and Laura had somebody that was maintaining it. I really would like to use the same person again, okay? Because they've done a good job doing it, and it was like $350 a month or something like that to come in and clean it up. Okay, so there's not much we have to do. They've done a good job there to begin with.
Invasives, fines,
Yes,
it is loaded. It looks wonderful where they do mow, but the whole perimeter where they don't mow is pretty viney. You can barely see out to the water. And those vines will just continue to climb the trees and kill them.
right, and listen, it's all over the place. Okay.
It's all over the place. But, you know,
I think we have to work with the DEC on that, so close to the water. But one thing at a time, but I think we should address that. It's-
even at Ned's Lane, it's the same.
Oh, I know, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, so, but, I don't think we can go into the total property and just start cutting out stuff. I think we have to.
Line is line, I mean, I don't
No, we did this in the Heights where near Bridge Street 2 years ago. We wanted to clear out stuff, all the vines along to the right of Bridge Street going that way. And we had to work very carefully with the DEC and they had very specific rules about what we could and couldn't do.
I
So
mean, bittersweet is bittersweet.
uh,
Bittersweet is bittersweet.
I understand that, but anyway, and the goal would be actually to take out stuff and plant stuff, good stuff. No, I'm with you. It's a mess.
right.
Howard, what do you do with your preserves that you have with invasives? Are you addressing them at all?
Well, when I walk, I might bring my lockers with me and I cut down it because I know what bittersweet is, but you don't want to cut down a wild grape or something like that. There's other vines that are native.
Well,
We have to be careful about that.
rape is kind of
It's a,
it's a good, bad thing.
Yes, it is. But
Because it'll kill a tree.
It's, yeah, it has grapes, but it also strangles trees.
yeah, it's kind of a little tricky.
You know, Julie, when you get into those invasives, it's like, once you get into it, where do you begin, where do you end? That's the big issue. That's what happened on West Neck property. Where do you begin and where do you end? But you're right. I mean, I think if we could just hold it so it doesn't get any worse, that would be a real improvement.
I mean, we could work together in this, Howard, but I think we need to do like a real survey of all these properties. I wanted to do it with a guy who, unfortunately, he was with Suffolk County, Andy Sinesic, and he was their invasive plant expert. And I wanted to actually survey all the properties with him. Unfortunately, he's retired. But anyway, and then sort of how to actually tackle these things in a way that would really work, which would, ideally not be scorched earth, where you're just literally. Anyway, but I think it's something that we do need to address.
Yeah, we used to do that every Saturday up at Mashonack, but we were just treating the bittersweet. And that's pretty easy to recognize. And, you cut it high and cut it low and it eventually die off. But to just go like things that go in there, clean out all the vines is not a good idea.
Howard, wouldn't that be a question if we would implement the stewardship plan? Wouldn't that be the volunteer, maybe they could assemble? Or, I'm just talking out loud.
Well, you have to know what you're looking at.
I know.
I know bittersweet. I'm digging it up
Yeah.
for 25 years on my property.
Because we all know what they are.
Okay.
When you go to plant something.
The other one is I want to talk about the formation of the CPF subcommittee for the acquisition plan. We've got a number of people here. We tried to keep it in a limited amount. Okay, and what will happen is a subcommittee will report back here, okay, to our committee, because it's just trying to working out some things. What would be really important from this committee is you've all looked at the acquisition plan. I think you should make some recommendations of what you think you would like to see in it. Okay, we're trying to put together a meeting, I think, on Monday. I don't know with Al, but I didn't hear from you yet, okay?
Yeah, I wasn't available.
Okay.
I don't know,
But-
I sent the days that I am available.
Okay, so I got to arrange that, okay, but I think it would be important, like, what are the issues that we think, if you had to do it again, okay? One of the things that I think, okay, is I don't think we really need to list every single piece of property,
I don't either.
okay? Because I think, I've seen everybody else's plans, they haven't done it that way, okay? I can send a list out of what I think, because I'm going to send a list out to the committee of some of the things that should be incorporated in it, okay? I mean, just off the top is the whole issue of wells, okay? Wellheads, it's not in 64E, so I went with, that's not what I think should be included, but I have no objection, for example, where, let's take the White property, there are wellheads there. So that, I have no problem with that being used if someone wants to use it for monitoring, right? Does that make sense, doesn't it?
Sure.
Okay, so, but those are the kind of things that I think that the kind of suggestions that we should include in that.
That's different than acquisition, though. You're talking about,
The plan.
But it was in the plan.
That's in
Somebody
the plan.
else.
What would you like to see? And it's interesting, Suffolk County is now, they're going from, they've done multiple appraisals, they're going to doing a single appraisal. Okay, it doesn't spell it out, we've done them here, but it's really not in 64E. It has to be something that, I still think having two is the best way to look at it, okay?
It's such a variation on
Such a
some of these.
variation, okay? So,
Mind-boggling.
any things that you want, like we have a numbering system that we had, okay? I think-
Priorities?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put out there all of them that are there. The Peconic Land Trust does not have a numbering system. They have a criteria, but it's not a numbered system. Okay, but we just need to look at it. Where are we going from here? Like, when I look at the financials and I look at, we have a lot of potential acquisitions there that can take place here but if we're looking at maybe, $1 million a year coming in, our job is really going to be more of maintaining the properties. That's really what a whole goal is going to be. I mean, I think, but anyhow. So the acquisition subcommittee, Kimberly from the Peconic Land Trust is going to be part of it. Howard Johansson will be part of it, our town attorney. Gail Wickham, our liaisons, Albert Dixon, Amber Williams, myself, and Kathy Kenny, okay? That's basically how we're going to do it, okay?
Right.
And we'll bring it back, and this way it'll be part of the agenda of our meetings going forward, what took place, where we're going with it, and get something that makes some sense.
So we'll have a look at a working draft.
Yes. Nothing, and obviously, nothing can be done. It has to be approved by the town board. Okay, that's why we have the liaisons there. And I think it's good to have the CAC. I think they can add a lot of help to what we're looking at.
Is the original on the town website?
Yes.
Okay.
Does it have page numbers on?
Stop. Okay. All right.
And we will highlight the changes that were.
We have a pretty busy executive session today, so is there any new business or old business here that we want to talk about? Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to go executive session.
Second.
To close the public meeting, to go into executive session to discuss potential land acquisitions. Thank you.